welcome to Apex Esports League. I'm JT. Tonight we are live on iRacing for the opening round of the Pagnian Imports TCR Championship. It is a 5-round series. Tonight for the opening round it's Brands Hatch Circuit GP, then round 2 will be Alton Park, round 3 Snetterton Circuit, round 4 will be Donington Park, and the final round will see us at Silverstone Circuit International. And for the opening round at Brands Hatch, we've got 10 minutes of practice. Weather conditions are partly cloudy. There's 10 minutes of qualifying. The race is 40 minutes, and we've capped the cars at 47% fuel, so it's likely the cars will need to make a stop to be able to finish out the race. It is standing starts, and we use the in-game safety car, and then the restarts will be single file lap cars all to the back. And that we did just conclude our Pagnian Imports Formula Renault 2.0 Cup. Our series champion was John Marinis with 1,204 points. And we saw Blake Urquhart finish up on the podium in P2 and John Gallen in P3. So it was a very close and very clean, exciting series. And to finish up the series, we're at Suzuka, and it was a clean sweep that ended the championship and securing that win with the pole, the race win, and the fastest lap bonus points all going to John Marinis. And we'll load up that track now in the UK, and then all UK tracks and iconic ones for the TCRs for this series. So it's going to be a great 5 weeks of racing. And we are in Kent for Brands Hatch, and there is a whole bunch of TCRs out on that track already. So we'll jump over and see how they're faring in the open practice. If you're joining us for the stream, jump in the chat, say hello. Let us know who you're here to support tonight. So 19 drivers registered in at the moment. And we got some old names making a reappearance. We got some debut drivers as well, which is great to see. Let's get some details up on the screen. So we got Thomas Martin. Long-time driver with Apex Esports, being in our series from around the beginning of Apex Esports League a few years ago, and he's made an appearance a fair few times. So good to see him back out on track again. And he's currently got the quickest time in the open practice as well, 1:34.9. Mark Cochran second quickest so far. Hey Mick, thanks for joining us on the stream. And we got Jason Schooler. And for those that regularly watch, we'll have seen that we haven't had the Century Motorsports cars. The KFC team did disband. And a lot of the original crew still banding together and getting a team going. So Pacific Esports, and you will notice the good old Pelican on the side from those KFC cars. Philip Furlow up in P5. And there's 4 cars that the drivers can pick from. 2 Hyundais, a Honda, and an Audi as well. Blake Urquhart's just come through. We'll have a look. For our debut drivers, we've got John Halloran making his debut with us tonight, and he's in the Audi. That's the R3 LMS in the Audi, and then the 2 Hyundai choices is Hyundai Veloster and the Elantra. And then the Honda is the Civic Type R. Jackson Fruitt coming back to run with us again. Hayden Ford not being on track with us for quite some time, so he's also joining us in the Audi tonight. Another debut is Hilton Booth. I'm seeing some great times coming through. And a big mix-up in the names as well. And our debut driver, John Halloran, setting a 1:34.9, so it's the 4th quickest in the practice. There's 40 seconds left. Yeah, Mick, which Apex cars have got the Hondas? We do have Ricky. I don't think he's in the session. And Philip Furlow driving the Honda. He did originally opt for the Audi. Damon Cross in a different team paint to the rest of the crew. That's because his paint's not ready for the car. We got Peter Pavlovic making an appearance after a while as well. And there we are, there's practice done. And the drivers will be locked into their car selection that they've made tonight. Any change in car between the rounds will actually void the points that they've earned in it. And Corey Brand also missing team paint with the rest of the crew. So he's donning a rental car. And also team change as well is the Gallon duo. So crossing over with LMR eSports. So last series they did run under the GFR. So some nice new paints for teams appearing. It's looking great out on track. Some fantastic liveries. See if we can find John Gallen is on my line as well. Oh, he gets that really loose. And these monsters do throw a lot of understeer. Incredibly tricky to try and master. And even the starts in these cars are very tricky. They do have launch control, so they need to learn how to use the launch control. Traffic down the back there. I'll jump on board for a lap in a moment. So 21 drivers registered now. So looking at Callan Hodgkinson, Sebastian Vandel's just loading into the session. Rory Bradbury coming straight into the pits, or is that him on his way out? He might have been down the back end. Looks like Steph just coming out of turn one, coming down Paddock Hill. Thomas Martin goes very wide for a nice run through turn one. This will be first time laps now. So we can catch a driver that's not too far off. I think there's Jackson Fruers down through halfway through sector 3 by the looks of it. He's only 3 corners away. So I'm probably going to throw some bad luck his way with the commentator's curse. It's the second last corner at the moment, and then we'll be on board for a hot lap in the Audi. Hey Ricky, thanks for joining us. A lot of throttle control for that final corner. It's very hard to try and find a point for turn in at Paddock Hill. You can see a lot of drivers caught off with some understeer. And down into the hairpin for turn 2. It's going to be a big passing opportunity, especially at the start of the race. The next two corners are very crucial before this uphill run. You can use a lot of the off-track to be able to carry that pace. They're messing up. This left-hander here will unsettle that car for this run up the hill, lose a lot of power. Just let it run over to the left. And the fast sections through sector 2. A lot of throttle control for the turning, watching that inside line for that first right-hander. Not a lot of curb, catch that grass and the car will be going for a spin. We can take a lot of inside and outside curb. And a rather aggressive inside curb to watch out for. So got up to 160 Ks, sector 1, 175, or is it 179, sorry, sector 2. So pulling some pretty good speed. He hugs that wall just to try and drop that lap time down for qualifying. That was a 1:35.454. Courtesy of Jackson Frewer in the Audi LMS. Qualifying in 7th position. Damien Cross currently holds pole position, a 1:33.552. So we saw 34s being set in the practice session. Damien Cross about a 10th away from Blake Urquhart. Like giving a flash of the lights. I think that's David Simmons. So all the drivers getting a time on the board except for Mark Cochran, Jason Schooler, Aiden Ford and Sebastian Vandel. 3 minutes to go in qualifying. There's nice conditions. Track temperature's gone up a couple of degrees. So it's going to be quite optimum out there at the moment. Looks like the Gallons doing a little bit of teamwork for some drafting. Milton Booth parked up, he's on his way out. He's set at 35.4. So doing well for debut run. John Halloran also doing well. P7 currently for qualifying. Vandel's out on track. And that is one bright car for Vandel. Now spot his car out there. I'll even jump in for some different sounds in the cars and have a look at the cockpit layouts. So we're on board in the Audi for the hot lap before. We're on board with Philip Furlow in the Honda. Oh, just crossed over to Bacoli. She takes some damage. So it should be Hyundai Veloster that Mark Cochran's running. think Damien Cross is using an Elantra. He's a Veloster too. Russell Gander is using an Elantra, but he's not actually running the car, so it's not going to be... Yeah, so a lot of Velosters being selected. 20 seconds left to qualifying. No movement, no standings yet. Mark Cochran just gets in a time. He moves up to P9. It's leaving Varndell to get a time on the board. Oh, it's a very wide runoff. Not sure if that's going to invalidate a lap or not. Yeah, I think he's had a loss of control before as well. Yeah, he's... Drama's going on. So that's qualifying complete. Final lap done for Jackson Thruer. 37.342. Previous lap has qualified at 35.4. A few parking up. A lot practicing their entries, so we'll check out those qualifying results now before the session loads over. And here they are, qualifying for the opening round of Pagnian Imports TCR Championship at Brands Hatch Circuit Grand Prix. Our pole position driver is Damien Cross, sitting at 33.3. And then the rest of the grid will then be Blake Urquhart, Thomas Martin, John Halloran, Aidan Ford, John Gallant, Robbie Bradbury, Callan Hodgkinson, Blake Gallen, Mark Cochran. Then we have Russell Gander, Philip Furlow, Hilton Booth, Jackson Thruer, Jason Schooler. And then from position 16 on we have Corey Brand, Peter Pavlovic, Stephanie Piccoli, Philip Buckland, David Simmons, and Sebastian Varndell not getting in that time at the end. A few drivers out there using what's left of the session. And as you join us for the stream, do use those sound effects controls underneath. That'll be played and recorded over the stream, so that way you can cheer, applaud, boo if you need as stuff unfolds in the race. The session's now finishing, so kicking us over. And for any of our new viewers, hit the follow button as well. It'd be great if you can support us. Help us try and reach our next milestone of 330 followers. And then following, you will get notified when we go live. So we're here Monday nights at 7:35. And then Thursday nights with Project Cars 2 as well. And we got more touring car racing coming for that. And they will be running the exact same tracks as well. So it's the first time we've been able to actually run identical series between the two. Too far up. Shot this, might get the full 21 cars, I think. Now 5 drivers to grid. They've got 50 seconds to do so, otherwise they'll be starting from pit lane. And Damien Cross starts pole from the inside line. Yeah, win it in the first corner. I'm sure we can get a race lead from mid-pack for sure. And the cold tyres, understeer and paddock hill bend is going to be rather interesting for the start of the race. You can hear drivers trying to use the launch controls. So about 30-40% clutch at the full throttle. It'll just sit there and then drop it. Otherwise the cars will bog it right down. I can't master it myself. Oh, look at that. We're going to go 3 wide nearly for turn 1 at the front. Tommy Martin squeezes into the lead. Gets at the hairpin for turn 2. No. Damien Cross manages to keep the lead. Oh, it's pretty jam-packed all the way down through the field. 2 wide for most of it. And looks like a pretty good clean getaway. Oh, some cars making touch. A tow for Hodgkinson. I think that may have been a run out into the wall. I think there may have been some touch with Russell Gander as well. I'm looking at the instant detection app. Jackson Frewer's got a good run onto Bradbury. Did swerve out to try and look for a line. And what pace Damien Cross had through turn 1. He's put a nice gap. That's going to be handy because he's got Blake Urquhart and John Halloran starting to hound Thomas Martin. That's Blake Urquhart and the Red Bull Honda. He swerves out. Not enough pace to be able to carry that inside line pass, but he might be able to carry it in the following corner. Mistake made for Halloran, forces out wide. Urquhart moves up to P3. David Simmons making a repair. Looks like he's had a stop and hold. Oh, Hodgkinson took some big damage. So the tow complete now because it looks like the repair's just been used. They do have the fast repairs. Halloran drops back another spot. Still contesting it against Aiden Ford. Halloran holds that inside line. Takes the track position for turn 1. Aiden Ford's going to have a go for turn 2. Nice door to door. Very tidy line through the hairpin. What a great little battle these two are having. John Gallen, Robbie Bradbury, hunting close up. Varndell's made a fair bit of ground, moved up to P10 considering he qualified P21. Closing pace in. Oh, that's Frewer that's gone off. Quickly recovers. Nearly turns into Cochrane. Drops some pace. Varndell on the inside line. That was some very tight re-entry for Thruett, trying not to lose too much pace from the off-track. Cross starting to put a gap over Martin. It's extended to 1.7 seconds now. Drivers need to be cautious of the off tracks as well. Once they reach 17 incident points, that'll be a journey down pit lane for a drive-through penalty. Schooler and Pavlovic starting to have a gap close in. Hilton Booth also closing in on Thruett. Wonder if he may have taken a little bit of damage from previous. Vardell sandwiched in between Blake Gallen and Mark Cochran. Gets up on the inside, a little bit of rubbing, he's squeezing his way in. There's like a flying V formation going on through the final corner. Mark Cochran at the front of it. There's a fantastic fight going on. Almost looked like there was going to be an inside attack and outside attack on Cochran. With Thruett and Vardell looking to swipe out each side. The lead still held by Damien Cross with lap 4, led for 4. And he's extending that lead over Thomas Martin. Hey Sami. Hey DK, thanks for joining us. Battle between Aiden Ford and John Halloran has eased off. Halloran starting to push out a little bit. Oh, there's some car contact. Yeah, Sebastian Vardell. He's heard another scrape as well. I think that may have been a bottoming out car. Mark Cochran may have copped a bit of a brunt in that battle. He's dropped back a fair few positions. He's had an off track. I can't see if there's been any contact. But he was getting those mirrors tested quite a fair bit. Blake Gallen looking to have a crack at Vardell. Cochran looks like has some damage. Yeah, front left wheel is toast, isn't it? Yeah, she is not looking well at all. Using that fast repair. Blake Urquhart. The Honda. trying to close the gap to Thomas Martin. Looked like he carried a good amount of speed through turn 2. Cochrane back out on track. I'm pretty sure they should be fine for fuel. These cars are rather good on fuel use. From where we've just crossed over from Cochrane, it looks like they're about to have some lapping going on. Yeah, that's Frewer. Up ahead, that's P19. Hodgkinson needing that early tow. Currently in P20. Car ahead. Flashing lights. That was Blake Gallant. Showing wanting to get around lap traffic. I'll show you whose car that actually might be. I think it's Philip Buckland's car. Cross still holding that lead. Gap starting to extend. His best laps are 1:33.5. That's at least a tenth quicker than best lap. Oh, sorry, no, it's actually last laps I'm looking at. Last lap 33.5 to a 33.6 for Thomas Martin. The best laps, at least 2 tenths difference. DK, yes, a big congratulations to Dan Winrow winning the Next Level Racing FGT Light Racing Cockpit. The drivers did incredibly well through the 5 rounds. There was a total of 498 entries that they earned. So the most entries earned was 39. I think Dan won it with 33 entries that had been accrued. So a big thank you to Next Level Racing for putting up that fantastic prize. And we have had one of those to give away before. It's one of our championship winners, courtesy of Pagnian. Anyone looking to get some Next Level Racing gear can do so at pagnianimports.com.au. You can use our league discount code. So any of our community can use that and we'll get you 5% off, which is NLR-Apex-5, and you just enter that in during checkout and 5% will come off that total. Yeah, Damien is definitely driving like his old PSN name. Demon FX. Carving up, pushing out that lead to 3.4 seconds. I think we only got to see Damien for 1 round in the Formula Renaults. He usually has a pretty good run when he's out there in the supercars. He seems to be a bit of a weapon in this Hyundai. I think it's a Veloster by the looks of it. Yeah, in the Veloster. He's been incredibly smooth in this car and consistent. Position change for P2. Blake Urquhart's moved up. Thomas Martin's dropped back a fair bit. Oh, can he save the car? No, takes some dirt, has another crack at it. 3 attempts to save the car. He's going to take that in the pits. Not sure if he's dealing with damage. A few loss of controls. Well, I wouldn't call that loss of control. He saved that car. No damage appearing. But those few saves costing some time. And pit stops going to be much slower than what we were seeing the last 5 weeks in the Formula Renaults. Some very quick pit stops, only about average of 4 seconds. So we'll probably see 5 to 10 seconds, depending on if they need fuel. And if they can make the car last out without having to refuel, they don't have to come in and stop. Oh, the car off track up here. Looks like they've taken damage. I'm trying to figure out whose car that is. Like one of the Apex cars. I can't gauge whose it was, we didn't see the wheel. Like a position change. Oh, it was Mark Cochran. He's come back into the pits. Not having a whole lot of luck tonight. Cochran does pretty well in the Hyundai Veloster as well. Bit of a veteran in the TCR cars. Our debut driver John Halloran currently up in P3 now. Not yet being able to shake Aiden Ford. They had a good few laps battle. They had a couple of weird little splurts coming from the car. Not sure if that was a little bit of slip going on. These TCRs do make all sorts of strange noises. Oh, Thomas Martin looks like he's had to retire. And a tow for Hilton Booth. Some heavy damage to that front end. Hilton now dropping a fair few positions as the car's being towed. Be able to use that fast repair and get back out on track. Mark Cochran still parked up. He might be deciding to park the car up. It's 144-second pit stop so far. So it looks like the car's just been parked stationary. David Simmons gets lapped by Damien Cross. And Simmons currently 2 laps down. That's 12 laps led. As Damien Cross commences lap 13. And that's just past the halfway point. It's 19 minutes left on the clock. He's pushed that lead out at 4.9 seconds. Phil Furlow getting some pressure from Peter Pavlovic. Closes right in. A bit of rear slip from Furlow. It's opened up the door. Careful not to turn across. Position gain for Pavlovic, moves up to P9. Oh, looks like a few cars making contact. Barndell. Oh, I think there's been a blink as well at the same time. Could have been potentially some damage in this. We'll see what's going on, how far back that actually occurred. Might be way too back. This replay might have been set a little too far back. Oh, here we go. So it's Robbie Bradbury re-enters, and it looks like that front end was destroyed. The car was just barreling across. And it looks like it's killed Bradbury's car. Well, then, car's going every which way, trying to avoid the incident. Barndell. I think Philip Buckland's still. Mark Cochran gets back out on the track. He may have had to duck off and do something, so he's had to park the car up. So it's 235 seconds stop. Also long pit stop was David Simmons, but I think that may have actually been a stop and hold held onto it. So it took about 45 seconds longer than it should have. Coley's also had a lane fear stop as well. 184 second pit. Hilton Booth having the tow before. Comes back out in P15. Bradbury did end up needing to pit. The car sounded dead after it ended up making the contact with Varndell. Car looking much healthier now. So done well to get back out and still be in P13. And with the scuffle going on before, that's allowed some position movement. Furlow now up into P8 and he's caught back up to Pavlovic again. It was on that corner there that he lost the position to him on the previous laps. So carried a little bit too much speed onto that left-hander up the hill, leaving the door open for Pavlovic just to make the run straight up through the apex. Starting to pester the mirrors as well. Further gets a lot of inside curb. Big speed being carried into turn one. Lost a bit of pace for turn two. Pavlovic gets a pretty good run up the hill. We're on lap 18. Cross still leading the way, and he's done so for those 17 laps. If he's one of the last to pit and keeps this pace up, it's unlikely he's going to lose the lead in this. Halloran doing incredibly well for debut run. 12 minutes left to the race. There's about 5.5 seconds separating P2, P3. And there's a nice safety net of 19 seconds between Halloran and Blake Gallen in P4. That gap still holding between Further and Pavlovic now. It's sitting around 1 second, teetering a bit. Next and closest is Corey Brand and Russell Gander. And Holly Lunchbox, thanks for the follow. Pit window, Mick, they should probably be alright to be able to scrape all the way through. It'll vary for some of the tracks. I'm anticipating Brands Hatch would be pretty fine to get through. If not, it's going to be very close. Only a couple of laps. Oh, that car got unsettled for Gander. Gander takes a little too much inside curve as he's trying to leave the path open to the outside. And he saves the car. Oh, and the position comes back. Brand getting loose out in the grass. Losing an additional position to Robbie Bradbury. There's a fair bit between the next lot. There's an extra 10 seconds or so, actually 40 seconds to Jackson Frewer. Let's race leaders through. Damien Cross. And that's lapping position 13 now. previous lap by Cross at 33.488. His fastest is a 33.233. He's keeping some very consistent times. Yeah, McGullans are doing well. Blake in P4, John in P5. That's Frewer that they've just gone past. That's P14 that they've lapped. Russell Gander being lapped in P12. 8.5 minutes to go. Blue flag out for Buckland as Bradbury makes on his way around. He's also got Damien Cross on approach, so blue flags for Bradbury. This is where things are going to get very tricky. There's a fair bit of traffic that's consistent now. It's going to have to start weaving the way through. I think it's Jason Schooler just up ahead as well. Vondel on approach to Booth. Vondel's in P10, Booth P15. It's currently a lap down. He did need a tow before. Chase between Pavlovic and Furlow still continues. Cross has had a phenomenal drive. And 0 incident points as well for Damien Cross, and no off tracks. It's an immaculate run. I'm pretty sure it has the fastest lap of the race as well with the 33.2. Looks like it could be by a good couple of tenths. Actually, no. Blake Urquhart's got it at 32.9. Oh, Dick, having internet issues. Dropouts. Hopefully there are no dropouts for you come Thursday. Oh, Vondel has some issues. Runs wide. He's got Schooler right behind. Piccoli maybe looking to unlap a position here. It's David Simmons just up ahead. Piccoli's a lap different. And Mark Cochran just behind as well. He's in P19, so he's a position ahead. Oh, scrape on the curb. Cochran and Simmons were racing for position. Cochran sneaks on in for a pass, moving into P18. Car goes off on Paddock Hill. That's Corey Brand. There's ample runoff to be able to bring that car back in. You do get a little bit of marbling around that braking zone coming down the turn too. John Gallen just had a fantastic run of pace. He's trying to close in to Blake Gallen. With 2.5 minutes left, I'm pretty sure we may see them last out fuel-wise. It'll be interesting to see how much is left in the tank for them. Damon Cross smashing it up front. It's from lap 25. We're seeing 1:33 per lap. Halloran starting to close in on Blake Urquhart with only 2 laps left in the race. Can he close in 3 seconds? There's a few attempts quicker in pace that last lap. Lunchbox, yeah, they are front-wheel drive cars. So these things love to understeer. And then the cars are incredibly fragile in the front end when taking the curbs as well. Part of the WRTC, possibly would be. I'm not sure what the iRacing ones are mimicking them. They are becoming a very popular class of car, even the TRC in Australia making its appearance, doing rather well. This gap closing in between Blake Gallen and John Gallen now. And there's checkered flag out. Damien Cross leading for 25 laps to take the checkered flag, grabbing that win. And Furlow destroys the car at the end of turn 1. On the podium, Blake Urquhart takes P2, and John Halloran for debut race finishing up on the podium in P3. And a bit of a gap through to the next battle. Then crosses the line. Blake Gallen P4, John Gallen P5. Heavily clouded over in that last lap as well, as the track temperatures are increasing a fair bit. So a good time to wrap up. Aiden Ford takes P6, Pavlovic P7. Schoolers in 8th, Vardell in 9th. That's got Philip Furlow in 10th. He was just lapped it towards that end. I don't even know if he was actually on a lead lap, but they can obviously get through. Brands Hatch no dramas on a tank of fuel. So we're going to be wreaking havoc in the cars now. They don't have to wait for the last cut across the line, because they're not going to be losing entries to a competition for accumulating incident reports. So they can do their post-race shenanigans as normal. Damien Cross having a spectacular run and goes for a full-on victory lap as well. And then we have our first round done. Hopefully this loads up in a sec. It's taking a little time to load. There we are. I'm getting a weird little error come up at the same time, so it's showing some weird stuff up on the screen. There we are, our results at Brands Hatch Circuit Grand Prix. It's 26 laps done for round 1 of the Pagnian Imports TCR Championship. And our race winner is Damien Cross. On the podium P2 is Blake Urquhart. And then we have John Halloran in P3. So well done to our podium finishers. And then the rest of the standings is Blake Gallen, John Gallen, Aiden Ford, Peter Pavlovic, Jason Schooler, Sebastian Vandel, Philip Furlow, Robbie Bradbury, Russell Gander, Corey Brand, Jackson Frewer, Hilton Booth. And then we have Callan Hodgkinson, Philip Buckland, Mark Cochran, David Simmons, Stephanie Piccoli, and Thomas Martin. See if our drivers have jumped into the chat. I don't think I can actually. Let's have to get rid of some stuff. Had a exception error come through on the overlays, so we'll just reload those because I couldn't actually jump over into the chat to be able to unmute our drivers, so we'll get them over here in a sec. And congratulations, Damien. What a run.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks very much. That's my first win, I think, with Apex on iRacing. So
yeah, there you go. A solid lead, too, just for the full 26 laps.
Yeah. Although I bogged down the start, and lucky I was on that inside corner, so I was able to hold turn 1 and turn 2. But, they got good starts. And then from there, I sort of got a bit of a lead because they were battling behind. But while it was about 1.9 seconds, I was worried because any mistake I made then, they'd catch up. But once I got it out to about 3 or 4, I was sort of felt more comfortable. And then I started trying to go for fastest laps. And then Blake was like beating me in fastest laps. So then I was trying to beat him on fastest laps. But then towards the end, when he got his 32.9, I went, no, I'll just bring it home. I'm not going to.
That's it. Not worth.
I don't want to wreck the race. So.
Yeah, you just bin it in the last laps just to shave a 10th off.
Yeah, but no, that was really good fun, so I'm happy with that. So well done, Blake, and I think John came third.
Yep, debut race. takes P3, so yeah, done well.
Yeah, so, well, obviously we've got a new team, Pacific eSports, but they didn't have my livery ready for tonight, so that'll
And didn't
so
need
I
the
ran
rental
around.
car like Corey
No,
did.
no, I should have run the rental like Corey, the Avis car.
Yeah,
He
it was
was
fitting.
sitting on the grid for about a minute 30, just revving the engine out, and he said it's all right, it's a rental. Yeah, anyway, that was cool. So
Yeah.
well done, Blake. And well
Yeah,
done,
congrats, Blake.
Yeah, thanks, boys. Yeah, it was alright for TCR for Honda around here, I suppose. Bit different to the last round, but yeah, no, car felt good. Yeah, Brendan Hatch haven't had a lot of practice around here. That was great battle and fastest laps with me and Damien. I know we weren't battling, but I reckon if I didn't have a shit start, I'd be up there with him. But no, that was yeah, off tracks around here was turn 5. It was just hurt me. That's where I would lose you. So no, great win, Damien too, mate. That was awesome, and I suppose go on the next week.
Yeah, no, cool.
Yeah, he's had a pretty good run. And he's with you bogging down at the start too. It looked like you were almost going to have a free wide down through turn 1. I was like, oh, here's the game. Straight into
Well,
it.
I had no idea how to start it, so obviously John and the other fella did.
I think that the TCRs is just good because it's got the wheel spin. These things don't wheel spin. The TCR where the Audi's does, like it just wheel spins at the start.
Ah,
You put
just
your
fills
foot
the
down.
ball up. Yep.
Yeah, this doesn't. It's like it's got it does have ABS, but yeah, it's unless if you turn it down. I tried to turn it down just before and it did nothing. So, yeah, I suppose that's next week's problem. I suppose, and try to learn how to start it.
Yeah, use that launch control on it.
Yeah.
Try and figure it out.
See how we go. Nah, good fun though. Different.
Yeah, they're pretty good cars. And how did it go fuel-wise? Was there a whole lot left in the car at the end?
Oh, yeah.
I had 4 laps.
Yep.
Yeah, I had. Yeah, it would have been in litres. I think I would have had about 5 or more litres left. Oh no, it says I got. Oh, I don't know. I'm out of it now. I had plenty of fuel, so if you want to drop the fuel to make a pit stop, you probably should.
Yeah, it'll probably vary out depending on the tracks, so make it a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
Might not be able to be stretched out each time, which would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, this track in this car, it's sort of like you've got to keep the flow of the car going. Like you do downshift for the corners, which would use fuel, but you're not braking hard and accelerating hard.
Yeah,
a lot of it was like
lot of
smooth
flow,
braking, carrying speed, flow, and then try and get on the gas. So
yeah, it's one of those nice tracks. So you think you've done a slow lap and look at the time, and it was quicker than the one that you thought that you're fighting it a lot more. So it's
yeah, it takes about 4 or 5 laps to get the tyres going, and then once you do there, it's good. The tyres were fine. I suppose right at the end, I think my times dropped off, but that was probably a bit protecting. But also, I think the tyres were starting to heat up a little bit. Yeah.
And track temp was starting to jump up a fair bit towards that back end as well.
Oh, okay. Yep.
So it would have been interesting if there was a few more laps in it with how it was increasing.
Yep. No, it was all good.
No, it does. I did learn that if you sit behind a car, it does hurt you 3 times as well. It doesn't even if the guy's faster in front, it doesn't really help for a slipstream.
Yeah, there's not much of a slipstream, no.
Yeah, it kind of hurts you more than anything.
And it would be hard to overtake, I imagine. On this track anyway. Maybe a tighter track it might be better, but yeah.
Yeah, probably some more passing opportunities that way with Alton Park next week. So there's some good tight corners. We can get some nice runs in and a few different lines to be able to capitalise and still hold it.
Yeah. No, that was cool, but yeah.
Yeah, well, congrats. A great start to the series. And especially coming off with your main win in the iRacing as well.
Yeah. I nearly got the, what do you call it when you get everything? But
No, mate.
A clean
the
sweep.
plate stole it away.
Narrowly missed out.
As I say, you can't have everything. I've got to help you.
You just have to make it next week now.
Yeah, well, the opposite, I hope.
Yeah.
Nah, good stuff, and thanks, JT, mate.
Yeah, no worries. Congrats, guys. Talk to you later.
All right. Cheers. See ya.
There's our race winner and P2. It's Damon Cross taking the win in round 1 and Blake Urquhart in P2. And we had John Halloran finish in P3 in the debut race as well. So well done to our podium finishers. And then we'll be back next week, same time, so live from 7:35 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time for round 2 of the Pagnian Imports TCR Championship. And that will be at Alton Park Circuit International. And it's going to be another great one in these cars, especially if you're seeing same field size as well. It's going to be some good door-to-door going on, so stay tuned for that one. And also do check out our Thursday night, because there's more touring cars coming up for Project Cars 2 as well. So thanks for tuning in tonight, and hope to see you trackside next time.